Steve, you want to go first? Rex, could you be a gentleman and let Steve go first, you think? Maybe not. So patient, so kind, Steve, putting up with T-Rex. 54 degrees, 9:30, October 9th. It's a Wednesday. The Accurite says it's cloudy. Reality says it's not cloudy. Reality says a lot of weird things. A lot of upsetting things today in the weather department. Second major hurricane in 2 years coming into just south of Tampa, Florida. We'll get to that. Meantime, our brand new flag looking good. We're air coming from the northwest. Beautiful Montauk daisies down there. I'm gonna try and walk Steve. He sees something. He sees a rabbit or something. Steve, let's go over and hide from the wind over here next to the invasive euonymus burning bush. And where's your holder? All right. There's the masts of the lynx, and the air is coming from the west between little upper level and surface troughs. Did you hear what happened on Cape Cod this morning? Were you there? Eric in East Dennis, what is that in your hand? Did it snow this morning on Cape Cod? That's ice. Technically, it does go in the book as T-snow. But it was hail. We had thunderstorms with hail on Cape Cod, came right down Route 6 this morning between 4 and 6 a.m. Amazing that we picked up another inch of rain, 1.19 inches of rain in South Dennis this morning in just an hour and a half. And then you combine that with what happened on Monday, that's 2 inches of rain on Cape Cod this week. So our guidance from a week ago showed a storm over southern New England on Monday and Tuesday, and something usually happens. Even though there was no storm, parts of New England did get some pretty amazing weather. Marlow, Garnsworthy at the shore just as the sun was coming up and the storm was moving off. A couple seals there on the left. And then, wait for it, she says, kaboom, lightning over the ocean this morning. And surf, too. Surf is still up. And this is an offshore wind for a lot of New England. Maybe not the South Coast, but here's what the surf looked like this morning at 9 a.m. at Cinnamon Rainbows on Hampton Beach. Yeah, formidable. Whenever you see that much white in the water, it's tough to paddle out. And it's about a 5-foot swell at about 12 seconds this morning. So there's still some surf. Yesterday, Weir Lundstedt says he has a secret spot in New Hampshire. So I won't tell him exactly where you were in New Hampshire. But that's what it was. He said, well, your secret point is going off. And then he found somebody else to hold his camera and make a video of him surfing yesterday off of New Hampshire. And it should look very similar again today. And there's also ski weather. Well, not enough to ski, but it is wintry in New England also. I got this snapshot off the tower cam at the summit of Mount Washington. You can see a few silhouettes walking around in the snow and ice. Another 1/3 of an inch of snow measured at Mount Washington the last 24 hours. And so that is 0.6 in the last 2 days. And I would say at the summit of Mount Washington, within the next 10 days, we might be able to move that needle to 6 inches in dribs and drabs. Dribs and drabs being some surface troughs coming through with an upper level low aloft, very unstable. The HRRR did a really good job nailing that thunderstorm on Cape Cod this morning. Let's see how it does today. Let's go to the HRRR. This shows where it's supposed to precipitate. And you can see another batch coming out of New York developing with a little surface trough coming through northern New York. This evening at 8 o'clock, a little blue spot there at Lake Placid. Whiteface may be snowing this evening at 8 o'clock. And then those showers tend to break up and scattered around. So any one of us are vulnerable to a shower. And the snow level is going to come down to about 3,000 feet. So some of the tops of some of the mountains in Vermont may have a little snowleage photo op. Coming up in the next, say 36 hours. And then the upper level low is going to lift out and it's going to warm up in our mountains briefly on Friday into Saturday. This mess right here, I went down and cleaned up the beach a little bit when I was making that time lapse. That's from Marlowe. She said, clean up some beach and show me what it looks like. And I didn't get to totally finishing that before I was done with yesterday's videos. Anyhow, yep, we do the beach cleanups around here. Yeah, snow level goes back up. Weather gets better here on Friday and Saturday, and that's just mostly in the mountains. And I don't think Cape Cod's getting any more rain, but here's the Boston 5-day meteogram from weather.us. And temperature in the 60s. The dew point, though, is only around 40, so that's where you get your clear sky. And again, tonight, many spots will get down to 32 like they did last night, away from the city areas, and especially where it radiates. The wind's going to pick up a little bit, though. Tomorrow's a gusty day from the west-northwest. Winds will be gusting to 30 with a temperature near 60 with a lot of sunshine and subsidence for the most part. Friday, the wind lets up a little bit. And Saturday, look at that. The temperature's supposed to spike back near 70, but there's a serious front coming through here over the weekend. We've been trying to time that out day after day in these forecasts, and it's still a really tough call. And now it shows rain on Sunday. The Euro has rain in Boston on Sunday. So different than from 24 hours ago. And we talk about the weather always changes, and so do the weather forecasts, and we call the play-by-play on both here. So what's up with that? All right, I wanted to do a couple of other things before I got there. Talking about the first freeze, Caribou, Maine this morning, 32 degrees. That's the 5th latest on record for the first freeze. So it has been a fairly mild autumn so far, and the cold air is going to retreat a little bit in the next 2 days and then come back probably Saturday night, Sunday, into Monday. And next week is a big kind of wild card. Let's go south to Milton. The latest observation I saw from the hurricane hunters was that the pressure was at about 918 millibars, or 27.1 inches on the barometer. If you have a barometer at home, it might not even go down that low. That's a low barometer, and the lower the central pressure, the more wind is going to be coming around. A very tight core with this system, 155 mile an hour winds right at the eye, which is actually filling in. It's weakening a little bit, but you only go out about 50 miles from the center of the storm, and then there are no more hurricane force winds beyond 50 miles out from the center of the storm. Now, it is going to be expanding a little bit as it comes ashore, but also probably weakening a little bit with some convective activity on the north side. Means that we have the interaction happening now with the fronts that have been north of Milton, and their interaction is a difficult forecast challenge, as you don't know how it's going to, the wind field is going to expand, and hopefully the central pressure goes up considerably, because the lower the central pressure, the more suction there is at the center of the storm, which sucks in the ocean, and that's your storm surge. So the storm surge threat is in the order of 10 to 15 feet, fairly similar to 2 years ago. This is the second major hurricane in 2 years in this part of Florida. That's Ian. Here's the satellite image from September, I think it was 28th, 2022. Now look at Ian, much more symmetrical and totally no front around, just all warm core. So in some senses they're similar, in other senses they're a little different. Hey, can you keep it down out there? Thank you. I'm a work boat, I'm working, leave me alone. And we may go out on the water today. No problem going out on the water in New England today. And this is sinking air between, what caused that rain? Oh, that's what I want to show you. The surface map from this morning. Why were the thunderstorms on Cape Cod? The little low with the orange dashed line there, that's a surface trough. So right here where I am, the air is sinking, and that pushes down, but somewhere the air is rising, right over there with those surface troughs, and there's another surface trough responsible for the showers that are going to develop later today and tonight. All right, now back to Milton. Tell me I didn't say Michael. Milton and the M storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's start with the image from 8 o'clock tonight. Now we're going to use this as the forecast. The Euro model on Pivotal Weather has it about a 950 something, and we know that the central pressure is not deduced well by the global models depicted. That's the word. The global models do not do a good job with the central pressure in these storms, so it's going to be a category 3 or 4 over Florida at that time. We widen out to New England, and there's a little 2,000. Oh, I forgot to show you on the very right there, right of Milton. That's a looks like a 1,006 low. That's perhaps strengthening tropical or subtropical cyclone Nadine may be forming south of Bermuda. The National Hurricane Center says there's a pretty good chance that's going to spin up, and we may have the Nadine storm way out to the east of Milton. It's not an issue for anybody. It'd just be another name in the statistics for this season. Sorry. And then go north to New England, and there's our upper level low, and we also have about 1,006 millibar low that's generating these instability showers of rain and elevation snow. Now let's go forward. And there is Milton crossing Florida and maintaining a little more strength going off the east coast than it did in the last previous runs. And I said over the Bahamas. It's actually north of the Bahamas. I don't think the Bahamas have a threat here, and we do not have a threat. Our air is coming from Canada, and we keep moving. We'll get to now. I'm going to stop it on Sunday at 2 p.m. This is a big change to the forecast. The last couple days, it looks like Sunday we were going to be between a front coming through here Friday and Saturday, and the next front coming in on Monday. But now instead, the Euro is spinning up a low pressure system right along the south coast on Sunday, which would equate to rain and cold wind from the northeast if this is right for Sunday. And I've mentioned very low confidence with how it's going to play out here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with new cold coming in right on the heels of this current old cold that's going to be pushing out. So I'd say there's probably about a 35% probability this is accurate. If we keep adding up all the runs over the last 4 days, and we come up with a fairly chilly, fairly breezy weekend with scattered showers evolving into snow showers returning to the mountains of northern New England as we get into Columbus Day. Monday, keep it moving here. Real strong high pressure system coming out of central Canada and expanding with almost record cold, it looks like, on its east side here, with a huge upper level low. So that's going to be instability, high barometer cold and instability. That's cold air up in the sky. So that's going to have the look and feel of November around here in the northeast next week, with scattered showers, and elevation snow may come down to about 2,000 feet. And maybe Killington turns on the guns for 48 hours getting ready for the World Cup in November. That is a distinct possibility next week. My friend's asking, well, when can I start looking at the snowfall accumulation maps? Well, maybe if this holds together, we can start looking at those over the weekend. But for now, we'll just count on the tops of the mountains turning white. And here's the image from Mount Mansfield this morning. Beautiful foliage right down in at 1,000 feet here near the resort buildings, and the tops of the mountains, the leaves are mostly off the trees, so that's the time when it starts snowing, so we may get some of those snowleage photographs. Probably not so much Columbus Day Monday, but probably by next Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll be monitoring that. And we all have friends in Florida, and we're all in touch with them. And on X, our friend Annie Banani says she's got a place right there just south of Tampa, and that her roof was rated for 150 mile an hour winds. So hopefully the wind damage is not bad, but the debris damage of the storm surge and the fact that Helene's debris is still all on the ground out there while they're cleaning up as fast as they can, that's a huge problem there. Tampa, and my sister Sandy, and Sarasota, Sanibel Island, places that were impacted by Ian, doing it again about 2 years and 2 weeks later with Milton. All right, wishing you all the best. And my and more from yesterday, I was went to the dental hygienist. My teeth are in good shape, thank you, but I was perplexed how the sky was so blue, and I was talking about that. So little meso high pressure systems, little meso low pressure systems coming through New England, and a nice sunset with the moon also over the Fore River and West Augusta Yacht Club late yesterday. Talk to you tomorrow. Not one cloud in the sky. Pretty impressive for Upper level low and instability. Localized sinking air. Responsible. Not get today's video published before having to go to the hygienist. And every road is being worked on, doesn't it seem? How can they be in such bad shape if every road's always being worked on? You don't have to chase foliage. It'll come to you. It's my favorite view. Coming home. That's a pretty cool view too. Way out there, a few instability cumulus. Never would have thought the sky would have been this blue. Cold air advection. A nice little red boat. A nice big green boat. And we've got the Bluefin Robotics unmanned submersibles team heading out to test some of their equipment. And our brand new flag flapping in the breeze. Nice offshore breeze. And all those cumulus from earlier in the day that were out over the ocean have also evaporated. So we have subsidence in the atmosphere despite the cold air advection. It comes in pulses, and there'll be another pulse, and we will have rounds of clouds and interesting sky and weather. Hey Dennis, can you see me now? I'm got a little glimpse of what Steve is doing when he's not going out the door. He's just being adorable, that's all. You don't mind if I call you adorable, do you? Look at he's a long cat. We'll be going out for sunset, of course. Just can't get over how blue this day is. Did not expect this. There are the clouds coming in from the west. Another sort of surge of the cooler air. Cooler air is more dense than warm air, and it kind of comes in and like waves. Everything's in waves. Love the planes landing in that direction. Get a few days off from the sound of jets going over the house every 3 minutes. Oh, Steve just jumped. I was going to get Steve and Mitt together for us here. You can see where Mitt starts and stops. His head and his tail are like one. Hi, Mitt. Hey. Oh, and there's a really pretty tree that most of the leaves are already on the ground. Pretty tree. Most of the leaves on the ground, and what else is on the ground? Oh! And of course, we're nautical again. How can we not be? Look at that sun sparkle off the water. So, there's still a lot of boats out here at Turn Harbor. Come back in about 2 weeks. It'll be almost barren. Sad to see the seasons go, but that's how life is. It comes and goes. Oh, who needs a yacht? We got one right here. I'll give you $200. What do you think? Not even 200,000. Try 2 million. Yeah, I know. It's good to have friends with boats like this anyway. How's that one doing up there? That one looks Italian. Here you can operate this one using an iPad. There's a radar, and right above the radar is the harvest moon, getting bigger, and Venus will be out there too this evening. All right, that's enough for today, don't you think? Yeah. Hey Danny, what's going on? Coming after me, help.